Great. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you guys a multiple bloom filter execution plan. And we have two things I want to look at. And so let's run it. Let's go back up to our execution plan. I might have to, looks like I need to, this one's really wide, so we'll do a zoom out. I may have, see if I can, that. I have more, from the zoom, I have a few more. So hopefully you can still see that okay, because it's much easier, in my opinion, to read the execution plan if it doesn't span multiple rows. So here what we see is the same basic execution plan that I showed you earlier in the demo, or in the actual slides. We have our supplier table, we have our date dimension table, and our part table. And noticed we've created bloom filters for each. And then we apply all three of those bloom filters to our scan of the line order table. Now, one of the advantages, there are multiple options in DBMS Xplan, which is what I'm using to display the execution plan here. Normally, we would use SQL Monitor reports, but SQL Monitor doesn't give us the ability to look at some of this other information. And what I wanted to show in the outline data, if I can get my mouse to let me go back down to where we were, you can actually see the swap join inputs.
Yeah, you can.
So you can actually see what the optimizer is doing, and it's considering all these different access predicates, or that's not the right word. All of these different what's the right word, Maria, for what we're seeing in this section?
What you're looking at there is the outline, which is basically the set of the exact set of operations or hints, so to speak, that would get you, that would reproduce this plan. So
I didn't want to say hint, but that's kind of what it's doing.
It's pretty much what it is. Yeah, right. The outline is the complete set of hints required to reproduce that plan.
Right, yeah. And the query blocks identify where in the execution plan we are, but you'll notice that we got our join filter for the bloom filter creation, or swap join input. So you can actually see, so given the right options, options to DBMS Xplan, you can actually see all of what's going on within the execution plan. Of course, you could also obviously do an optimizer trace as well. But if you're interested in diving into the nuts and bolts, we don't really hide a lot of this from you. We've actually, it's available for you to go investigate if you're interested. But I did want to show that is actually occurring, that we are actually having to do a swap join input in order to get our plan to look like this, so that we can actually, pre-scan, if you will, or scan ahead of time the dimension tables, so that we can get those bloom filters to be able to use them to scan the line order table. So again, it goes back to, we're trying to make one pass over the data, and we're trying to do all of the work we can as we scan that data. And what it gives us is phenomenal performance. I think I left the timing on. It took 1 minute, or 1 second and 3/10, basically 1 second to run this query, and it takes much longer. It actually takes 11 seconds in this system. That was in, if you want to go verify that, you can look at the second office sessions we did, but it takes considerably longer. It's basically a 10x performance improvement over the traditional hash join without database and memory. And then there's just more information here about what the query is doing. And again, we have our information about our predicate information as well. So with that, I will flip over, because I don't want to take all of the time on this, but I think this is valuable to show people how this actually works.